The internet is full of dark mysteries, but at this point we've all heard most of the iconic ones, so in this video I'll be covering 3 that aren't so well known. Hopefully at least one of them will be new to you. From a very creepy Google Maps reviewer to a horrific mass shooting conspiracy, let's investigate. If you enjoy internet mysteries and generally disturbing content, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can become a Ko-fi member or a channel member to gain access to uncut videos and other perks, or you can leave me a tip by clicking the thanks under this video. Thanks to anyone who considers this. This video will cover topics that some might find disturbing, such as death, mass shootings, and inappropriate behaviour. Viewer discretion is advised. You can click the link in the description to become a Ko-fi member and watch a longer, uncut and ad-free version of this video, which features a whole extra entry that was unsuitable for this cut. Whether you want directions for a road trip, ideas for new places to explore, or peace of mind that you're not going to get food poisoning from a restaurant you never tried, Google Maps has it all, and the reviews are particularly useful. They can sometimes be a mixed bag though, with everything from genuine, detailed comments on the service, to blunt remarks from disgruntled customers, to some that are just outright bizarre, and few are as bizarre as the reviews by a man named Ricky Calderon. If we take a look at Ricky's Google Maps profile, he actually hasn't posted many reviews with words. The vast majority are just ratings and photos. One thing you'll notice instantly is that almost all of them are for various different branches of Hooters and Twin Peaks, both of which are known as breastaurants, where the waiters are all women dressed in relatively revealing outfits. There are actually only 2 reviews that do have words, one from 2 months ago and the other from 3 months ago. I'll read those now. Came to Twin Peaks Davy for my early B-day and was taken care of by Madison. She made me feel welcome and she's really good at playing Uno. If you're in Davy on a Sunday, come to TP and ask for Madison. The best TP Davy has to offer. You won't be disappointed. First time at Hooters Atlanta / Cumberland GA and got helped by Jazaria. She made me feel right home, checked up on me to make sure I'm good. 5-star, more like 6 stars. If you come to this Hooters, ask for Jazaria, you won't be disappointed. So it is a little odd that almost all of Ricky's reviews are for Hooters or Twin Peaks, but maybe he just likes the atmosphere, right? I heard about a British couple a while ago who were on a mission to visit every Wetherspoons pub in England, so maybe Ricky has a similar goal, just with Hooters and Twin Peaks, alone, which is admittedly a bit weirder. Most of his reviews are for these restaurants in Florida, suggesting he might be based there, but there are also reviews in Texas, Virginia, South Carolina, Illinois, and Georgia. So I guess wherever he travels, he makes a point of visiting a new Hooters or Twin Peaks. Anyway, things get much stranger when you look at the photos he's posting with these ratings. All of them feature women, but many only show part of the women's faces, anything from just their forehead to their eyes and nose, but very rarely a full face including the mouth and chin. There are a couple of exceptions. For example, the Twin Peaks review I read where Ricky mentions being taken care of by Madison. He included a photo of her at the bar posing with a Yoshi toy. It's just a normal photo showing her whole face and body from the waist up. This is a rarity though. Almost all of the rest are these half-face photos. Even in that very review about Madison are 17 other photos showing half of different women's faces. And what's even stranger is that the rest of them are clearly photoshopped, which can also be said for the majority of the other photos he has shared in different reviews. The backgrounds usually look like photos he may have taken while he was at the restaurants, but as for the women, I don't know if he himself took photos of them separately then edited them onto the background image, or if he just found them online. Not all of the photos even show real women. Some of them are clearly digitally generated. They almost remind me of those IMVU ads you used to see all over the internet like 15 years ago. The earlier photos all showed real women, but at some point Ricky decided to start mixing in these uncanny fake images. All of the reviews seem to contain multiple photos with a mix of real and digitally generated women. So what the hell is going on here? This mystery has been discussed a few times on Reddit, and people came up with a few different theories. One was outlined in a comment by a now deleted user that read, "My completely unsubstantiated theory is that it's some sort of AI training itself to convincingly insert fake people in front of real backgrounds so as to gain traction on sites like Instagram to spread ads. I think all those Reddit bots do something similar. The only thing I can't explain is why they only insert half a face or why they're actually posting it." That last line is exactly what doesn't make sense about this theory. If the photos at least showed the women's full faces, maybe it would make sense. Also, if these were posted as reviews for a lesser-known restaurant, I might even wonder if it was the owner trying to get the ratings up. But this is for multiple different branches of Hooters and Twin Peaks, so that really doesn't hold up. If it was some bot training itself, as the commenter questions, why is it actually posting these photos? Another user tried to answer this question and commented the following. "Okay, looking a little deeper, he seems to be around Miami and more of Florida, but he has been to Chicago. Now interestingly, one of his reviews is for a Hooters in Florida, but he posted the picture of the half-faced woman and says, 'Next time I'm back in the Chai.' Chi-Town is a nickname for Chicago. I first learned that from Goose Island Beer. It's chai time." This automated bot program only makes 5-star reviews, and it only goes to Hooters and Twin Peaks. Exceptions are a barber shop, a grocery store, and a McDonald's, few others. Most of these are what people call restaurants. I've only been to Tilted Kilt for a graduation party. Now, the reason why it only posts half faces is revealed in a single photo. It shows the half face on top and a menu in the photo below. It's supposed to be taking menu photos and dropping a pretty girl's face in the shop. Most of the time though, it fails. I think it only actually worked once. In each image, the picture is intended to be the reviewer, but they are all different. I believe the text in these reviews is also AI generated, and you can tell. The recommendations in restaurant reviews are slightly off. What's ironic here is that the use of emojis, bold and italic text, and the fact they linked the photos in a different comment almost had me wondering if this comment was actually written by AI. Who knows? Anyway, the 3 photos they linked each showed a menu and a woman's forehead above it. Thing is though, 2 of the 3 definitely look real in my opinion, not AI generated. The woman in the other one does look to have been edited in, but the menu itself looks real. Now I'm far from an AI expert and I have been fooled many times, but one of these photos was from January 2021, nearly 4 years ago, and I don't think AI images were good enough at that time to have fooled people, even me, into thinking they're real. There are also a couple of photos which show Ricky's thumb over the menu, suggesting that they were taken by a real person. There was another post on Reddit about this where a user had a totally different theory. Quote, "Don't know if this helps, but a few years ago I began reviewing a bunch of restaurants etc. local to where I live out of boredom. Shortly afterwards, one of my reviews, which included some photos, became somewhat popular on Google Maps. I was then contacted by someone almost immediately who was willing to pay me to review places I had never been and include fake photos that they would send to me. They texted me directly, which I thought was strange because I didn't know how they got my number. They referenced my newly popular review and my photos, so they had definitely seen my local guide reviews. I quickly declined the offer and they left me with the contact info for the company they worked for in case I changed my mind. Don't know if this person is trying to increase their views by adding these odd photos in an attempt to sell future reviews, or if they're getting paid to post pics provided by someone else, but I figured I would throw the idea out there. If they hadn't been contacted by a similar company yet, chances are good that they will be now with all the views they're receiving. This is a pretty interesting theory. I didn't even know getting paid to post Google reviews was a thing, but I guess it does make sense. Ricky could be trying to make some money out of this, or even trying to move up guide levels just for the sake of it. I can't say I care about guide levels, and admittedly I mostly only bother for places that were really good or really bad, but I kind of enjoy writing reviews for restaurants and hotels, etc. Maybe Ricky is the same. What makes me think there is more to this though is the fact that almost all of his reviews are for Hooters or Twin Peaks, and of course the strange nature of the photos he posts. Not even just one per restaurant, but many, sometimes as many as 20 in one review, each with half of a different woman's face. Posting this many photos could simply be to get more points and increase his guide level, but why specifically only review these restaurants? Surely he would make a point of reviewing literally everywhere he went. Cafes, grocery stores, shopping malls, not just specifically one type of restaurant that happens to be known for young, attractive female waiters dressed in not that many clothes. Surely there has to be more to this. When I first stumbled across this, only one explanation came to mind. It's a fetish. A pretty obscure one, but a fetish nonetheless. If there's one thing I've learnt in my 5.5 years covering disturbing content on YouTube, is that when you see something weird and repetitive online that has no signs of being an ARG, especially when it features women or children and it's posted by a man, there's always a decent chance it has some kind of inappropriate explanation. Now, I don't know if Ricky specifically has a thing for the top half of women's faces, or if it's a little less on the nose. No pun intended. I'm not going to outright describe what I'm wondering, but perhaps there is a reason why the women's mouths in particular can't be seen in the photos. I'm sure you can imagine what I'm getting at. It seems pretty obvious to me that that's what's going on here. I can't think of another theory that explains every part of this. These women presumably didn't consent to be part of Ricky's inappropriately intended content though, and imagine being one of them just stumbling across a photo of yourself and knowing exactly what it's being used for is honestly really creepy, especially knowing that he went to the effort to actually edit you into a different photo. A couple of people online have even gone as far as to suggest that Ricky might be advertising these women as potential kidnapping and trafficking victims, or that he himself might be doing so. I haven't seen anything solid to suggest quite that, and it would be pretty stupid of him to post his victims' photos online. That's basically asking to be arrested. I wouldn't be surprised if this does go a bit deeper than him just taking photos and posting them on Google Maps though. In one of the written reviews he shared, he specifies the day that the waitress works. Would it be a massive stretch to wonder if he gets to know their schedules in some kind of stalkery way? The problem with this content is that it's not like reporting it would do any good. While Ricky's motivations seem pretty clear, the photos themselves aren't inappropriate and presumably don't violate any guidelines. It is concerning though that he so openly posts this, and it makes me wonder what else he does behind closed doors. If you happen to work in one of the restaurants that Ricky has reviewed, or really any restaurant of this type, please stay vigilant and report any behaviour that makes you feel uncomfortable. Ricky won't be the only person that frequents such places with potentially nefarious intentions. On the 1st of October 2025, a woman on TikTok by the name of Little House Big Alaska, we'll just call her Alaska, uploaded a video showing a piece of rock that she claims her son had stolen from the pyramids in Egypt and brought back with him home to Alaska. He had travelled there in February 2024, and she claims that when he came back and showed her the rock, she immediately told him he has to send it back because it doesn't belong with them. Obviously, she was conscious of the fact that stealing a part of the pyramids is very illegal, but she also seemed to just have a bad feeling about it from the off, and perhaps she was right too. Alaska's son isn't the first and probably won't be the last person to steal from the pyramids, and I think it goes without saying that it is a really shitty thing to do. And yes, I realise the irony of a British person saying this. Anyway, the Pyramid of Giza is actually the only one of the original 7 wonders of the world to still exist. Its cultural and historical significance cannot be exaggerated, so it should absolutely be respected and protected. Having a cool souvenir is not worth destroying such an important monument. Anyway, as I said, others have unfortunately stolen parts of it before. In 2009, British artist Andy Holden knitted a replica of a rock he had stolen from the pyramids years prior that was then used as an exhibition at the Tate Britain in London. He was just 12 years old when he stole it, so I guess we can let him off a bit, when he accompanied his father on a business trip to Egypt. In an interview, he said, quote, "When we arrived at the pyramids, unthinkingly I broke off a lump of stone from the side of the Great Pyramid of Giza. I got home and put it on a shelf in my room alongside a collection of other souvenirs I had as a kid. But when my parents found out, they were furious, and it ended up becoming this terrible guilt object. I didn't tell anyone else what I had done, but it had been haunting me in the last few years, so I thought I'd try to undo the guilt by travelling back to Egypt and putting it back in its original spot." Andy did just that. In 2008, he decided to create a film titled Return of the Pyramid Piece that showed his journey back to Egypt, and most importantly, him climbing the pyramid to return the rock back to its original spot. Obviously, it's not great that he stole it in the first place, but at least as an adult, he did his best to rectify his mistake. Luckily for him, it doesn't sound like he ever faced any legal consequences as a result. In 2015, 3 German people and 6 Egyptians were sentenced to 5 years in jail for stealing fragments of an ancient scroll as well as rock samples from the pyramids. And in 2018, the Egyptian parliament were debating legislation that would increase penalties, possibly to life in prison, for those convicted of illegally excavating, stealing, damaging, or smuggling ancient artifacts. So Alaska's son was also lucky not to have been arrested, though perhaps he did pay his price in a different way. In her TikTok, Alaska said that since her son brought back the rock, their family has been cursed with nothing but bad luck and that terrible things have happened. She doesn't go into too much detail, but does mention that there have been cancer, hospitalizations, and deaths. 3 deaths in her immediate family, as she later clarified in a comment. It seems she very quickly made a link with the rock because there was a sudden change in circumstances only after he brought it back, and now she's convinced that's what's causing these awful things to happen. Every time something happened, she would tell her son to get rid of the rock, but he'd just laugh and tell her she was crazy, until March 2025, when he passed away. I don't think Alaska has revealed his cause of death. She said she's processing it outside of TikTok, so she might never give more details, but she certainly seems to believe that the rock had something to do with it, and now is set on returning it. He was only 32 years old, so whatever the cause was, it was presumably unexpected and not from natural causes. It took Alaska a while to acquire the rock, as it had been with another family member who it seems didn't want to give it back to her, but in this video she can be seen packaging it to send it back to the Cairo Museum in Egypt. She also mentioned in the next video that she included a sincere apology card, because she wanted them to know that it was being sent back with love and apologies. A lot of the commenters were also convinced that The Rock had something to do with all this bad luck Alaska and her family had experienced, that it was some kind of curse. One even said that when they went to Egypt, they were specifically told not to take any rocks from around the pyramids because it would bring death on their family. I don't know if that's actually a widely held belief in Egypt, but it is kinda eerie if they are telling the truth. Other commenters warned Alaska that the curse might not be broken by her just posting the rock back, and that she'd have to take it herself and make sure it was put back in the exact place it was taken from. Again, I'm not sure if that is a legit local legend or some kind of rule with this type of alleged curse or what. Either way, it'd be almost impossible for Alaska to put it back in the exact same place since she wasn't the one who stole it in the first place. Regardless, the advice came too late since she later revealed that she had filmed that video 3 months before she actually uploaded it. It'd just been sat in her drafts the whole time, so by the time she shared it, she had already posted the rock back. But the story doesn't end there. 10 days after Alaska's original video, 3 months and 1 week after she posted the rock back, she uploaded another video stating that the rock is once again in her possession. It actually made it to Egypt on the 8th of July, but then no one ever claimed it. Some viewers found this spooky and believed it must be part of the curse, that the rock found its way back to her to ensure her bad luck streak continues. In actuality though, my research tells me that you can't simply send things to that museum. If you have an artifact to donate, or in this case return, you have to actually contact the museum and follow the donation process. So it really isn't that strange that no one claimed the package and it got sent back to Alaska. The next few TikToks Alaska uploaded were mostly just her saying she was trying to figure out what address she could send it to, and also that she would try to make contact with someone first so they are expecting it and will claim it this time. The most recent update was just 2 days ago at the time I'm writing this script, and in it, Alaska said that she is now planning to fly to Egypt with her husband so they can return the rock themselves. Sounds like she had taken the many comments that suggested that seriously, and I guess didn't want to take the risk of it being sent back again if she just posted it. And that's the story so far. I'd recommend following Alaska on TikTok if you want to see how it ends. So I guess the mystery is, has she actually been cursed by this rock? If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll probably know that I don't personally believe in curses, or really anything paranormal for that matter, so of course I don't believe the rock is cursed, or that the tragic events Alaska has experienced have anything to do with the rock. It's more than likely just a series of really unfortunate coincidences. I really feel for her though, because she clearly does think it's at least a possibility that the rock is to blame. She did also acknowledge that it could be a coincidence, but she seems more convinced than not that there is a curse at play here, and that must be terrifying. I can't even imagine the range of emotions she must have felt since her son brought the rock back. She always believed it could be responsible for the bad luck they all experienced, and when she told him to get rid of it, he laughed and called her crazy, so she was probably really frustrated with him for a long time, and then he died, which would have brought more grief and possibly even guilt over her not being able to convince him to get rid of the rock before it came to that. I hope she feels some comfort in knowing that she tried her best though, and regardless, the rock likely had nothing to do with everything that happened. Beyond the fear that it is cursed, it does also seem like she is genuinely invested in returning it to where it belongs, and I really hope she's able to do that and move on from everything that's happened. On the 27th of September 2006, during a girls' volleyball game at a high school in South Dakota, there was a shooting that was even more deadly than Columbine, known as the 2006 volleyball incident. 24 people died and someone even filmed it, though only a few screenshots of that footage are publicly available today. Naturally, this would have been all over the news at the time. There should be documentaries on it, books retelling the story, so why have you probably never heard of it? Well, turns out there's no evidence to prove it actually happened, but I didn't just make the story up. There are various discussions on it online, with numerous people claiming to remember hearing about it at the time, so why are there no news articles or any credible reports at all? The most popular theory among those who are convinced it happened is that there was some kind of cover-up. The exact details vary, but the main suggestion is something along the lines of it being a government assassination gone wrong. I'm not sure why the government would have wanted to assassinate school children or how it could have gone wrong, but it said that there were once reports on the incident in local papers and they were quickly recalled, with any evidence of it happening being wiped from public records and the internet. I even found one comment suggesting that people who witnessed it were either paid off or silenced in some other way so the truth would never get out. This is all a very compelling story, but the more you dig into it, the more holes you find. The details of the incident vary greatly in different accounts, with some saying it happened in North or South Dakota, others saying it was Nebraska or elsewhere. Some claim there were 17 victims, others remember 24. There is also a distinct lack of information on the alleged perpetrator. Was it a fellow student, a teacher, some random lunatic? No one knows, and no one even seems to question it. None of the victims' names have ever been mentioned, nor is the name of the school. No one who attended the school, and more to the point, no one who actually witnessed the incident has spoken out about it. It's always just people who have some vague memory of hearing about it years ago or reading an article about it at the time. If this was some kind of conspiracy involving a government assassination, it makes sense that many people wouldn't want to speak out about it, especially if they witnessed their classmates being murdered and feared they'd be next. But after all these years, can we really buy that not one single person has any credible information about it if it actually happened? It is true that there are screenshots from what appears to be a VHS tape allegedly containing footage of the incident, but these images don't exactly hold up to scrutiny. One shows the volleyball game before the incident, 3 show blood splattered on the floor, another shows possibly 5 dead bodies, and the final one features what appear to be body bags. They're all pretty blurry though, particularly the one of the bodies. The photos showing blood could easily have been edited. It's also worth noting that VHS was more or less obsolete in 2006. By the time of the incident, all major movie studios had stopped releasing new movies on VHS, and most people were using DVDs for their home movies. So why are people claiming to have heard about it before? It could be an example of the Mandela effect, which in my opinion can usually be explained by false memories. Various studies have shown how easy false memories can be created, and they can be so compelling that even after a person is faced with logical evidence that something never happened, they can still continue to believe it. Simply reading one person's account online could trigger others to falsely believe they remember it too, and I suspect that the whole "no one else remembers" angle could, consciously or not, motivate the brain even more to fabricate memories. Interestingly, there was actually another incident that occurred on the exact same day as the alleged volleyball incident that could well explain some of this. It's known as the 2006 Platte Canyon High School hostage crisis, and it involved a 53-year-old man named Dwayne Roger Morrison taking 7 female students hostage, essaying them, and shooting one of them dead, then himself. Thankfully, the rest of the students were either released or escaped unharmed. Obviously, there are some differences in these two stories. The hostage crisis occurred in Colorado, not Nebraska or North or South Dakota like the volleyball incident. It had significantly less victims, with only 2 dying, including the perpetrator, compared with up to 24 during the volleyball incident. This also happened in a normal classroom, not in a gym during a volleyball match, and the hostage crisis involved SA. Still, the fact that it happened on the same day is significant, and I wonder if many of the people who claim to remember the volleyball incident had actually heard about the hostage crisis but forgotten most of the details. When they heard the vague description of the volleyball incident years later, it probably sounded similar enough that they thought it was the same event and filled any gaps in their memory with the new details. The question does still remain of where these images came from though. A Reddit user actually identified the gym in the first image as being from Utica High School in Michigan. I found a video of this gym that was posted on a Facebook page for cheerleaders at that school in 2017, in which the gym looks exactly the same as what we can see in the supposed 2006 photo. It would be a little odd if there were no changes to the decor in 11 years. What is interesting though is that 2017 also appears to be the year that this incident was first referenced online, which makes me wonder if someone decided to create the hoax then. Either someone who actually attends that school, editing their own pictures from the gym, or using photos they found online from around that time. Scare Theatre actually uploaded a whole video on this incident a few months ago, and in it he shows that one of the photos of blood splattered on the floor shows signs of being edited. That whole video does a pretty good job of debunking this as a hoax, so I would recommend checking that out. At this point, I think it is safe to say that the 2006 volleyball incident is nothing more than a hoax that was likely started in 2017. I don't necessarily think that all the people claiming to remember it are lying though. As I said before, false memories are a powerful phenomenon, and given that there was a somewhat similar event on the exact same day, it's entirely possible that they are mistaking it with that. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments, plus any other internet mysteries you'd like me to cover in the future. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Huge thank you to my Ko-fi members and channel members whose names are on screen now. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time in a new video.